A quick start in fame, or a troubled childhood. Most actors today started off their careers when they were very young. But while some thrived greatly, some others were not so lucky. Did you know iCarly star Jennette McCurdy suffered from an ED while filming the show? Did you know the reason why she ended her relationship with Nickelodeon on bad terms? Keep watching to find out details all about that and more. Diet culture consequences. Being in the limelight can really put a strain on you, and you constantly worry about the way you look. In Hollywood today, it's not uncommon to see stars talk about their unhealthy relationship with food and how it has affected their lives. While a lot of these stars developed these unhealthy relationships late in life, for Jennette McCurdy, it was a lot different. She was forced to develop an ED while she was only 11. In a 2019 piece written for Huffington Post, the actress explained that she knew that by remaining as small as possible, she could continue to land roles as a child actor for much longer. Her way of achieving this? Eating as little as she could. Of course, this was no way for a young girl to live. But what's even more shocking is that McCurdy's relationship with food was encouraged by her mom. While McCurdy steadily rose to become one of the most popular child actors of her time, her mother ensured that the young actress followed a strict diet to prevent her from gaining any extra pounds. For the longest time, McCurdy believed this was a place of love. After all, her mother could only want what's best for her. But when one of her mother's friends raised concerns about McCurdy's weight and questioned what she ate, the young star started getting hints that her life was different from what many girls her age had. Then came iCarly. 3 years into her struggles with disorder, McCurdy landed a big role that would turn her into a household name. She was cast as one of the main characters of Nickelodeon's iCarly. At the time, she was only 14, and this quickly contributed to how popular the show became. Teenagers across America fell in love with McCurdy's character, Sam, and soon, the young actress could feel the weight of stardom resting on her shoulder. The pressure of fame, coupled with how hectic her job was, only made McCurdy's disorder worse. It also did not help that the producers of the show often complimented her on how thin she looked. They loved it and asked her to keep doing whatever she was doing to maintain that physique. This was in no way helpful, as she only took it as a hint to continue indulging her eating habits. Tragedy strikes hard. With her mother nudging her on, McCurdy continued to indulge her bad eating habits. Simultaneously, her popularity among teenagers and fans of the show was rising. Yet, McCurdy continued to struggle, and then tragedy struck. At the age of 18, McCurdy's mom was diagnosed with a terminal illness. It was during this period that the actress's relationship with food changed. Rather than avoiding it like she used to, McCurdy ran to food for comfort. She started eating again, but a little too much. In her 2019 Huffington Post essay, McCurdy wrote, "But this time it was a bit different. Every day I'd try not to eat. I'd give it my best shot, I really would, but eventually my mind and body would cave in and demand food. I would eat, and then I would throw up what I ate." So, McCurdy went from not eating to eating more than she should. And this went on for about 3 years. But after a few extreme and scary incidents, McCurdy decided that it was time to get help, and so she did. Pictures gone wrong. While her struggle with food was one of the major happenings in her life for years, McCurdy had to deal with more than the average teen. The pressure that came with fame. In 2014, explicit photos of the young actress were leaked, causing her to be the subject of media gossip. At the time, McCurdy was in her early 20s and had just broken up with her ex-boyfriend, basketball player Andre Drummond, who was assumed to have been the source of the leaked photos. Without mentioning his name, McCurdy admitted to having sent the pictures to only one person and asked fans to connect the dots. Not factoring in that the photos were leaked, McCurdy came under public scrutiny from fans who accused her of not being the role model they thought she was. This pressure, this role model status, McCurdy wanted no part of it and was sure to let the world know. "I'm not a role model. I don't claim to be. I don't try to be, and I don't want to be," McCurdy wrote in a Reddit post. For the young actress, she knew she was still trying to figure out what her life would look like. So, how could she be a role model to kids? Nickelodeon. While fans mounted pressure on McCurdy to be what they perceived good enough to be looked up to, the young actress was faced with yet another external struggle, Nickelodeon. Following the end of iCarly, the producers started a spin-off show called Sam and the Cat with McCurdy's Sam character and Ariana Grande's Cat character from Victorious. The young actresses were expected to reprise their roles from the previous shows, and while this was very exciting for fans, McCurdy was not having fun. Being on iCarly meant working overtime, which sometimes spanned 16 hours a day. But starring in Sam and Cat, this was even longer hours, which even as an adult was difficult for the actress. More so, McCurdy soon realized that she wanted more from her life than acting. She had clearly outgrown her character and was an adult, but she was made to continue acting like a teenager. While this might have been fun for any other person, McCurdy saw it as inauthenticity. They were not allowing her to be herself, and she resented that. Her popularity among children and teenagers did very little to help, as McCurdy truly believed her character was not a model kid to look up to. I resent my career in a lot of ways. I feel so unfulfilled by the roles that I played and felt like it was cheesy and embarrassing, McCurdy said during a March 2021 podcast interview. The end of an era. Seeing the frenzy her leaked photos caused, McCurdy was made to maintain a low profile for a while, so much so that she boycotted the 2014 Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards, where she was nominated for Best Actress. Though some presumed her absence was because of the photos, others believed it was because she was fighting with Ariana Grande. But while they were not completely right, they were not exactly wrong either. McCurdy was in fact feuding with someone, but not Ariana Grande. After the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards, McCurdy took to social media with a post addressing questions about why she boycotted the event. I wish I could explain everything as thoroughly as I'd like to, but unfortunately a simpler explanation is all I can write. I was put in an uncomfortable, compromising, unfair situation. Many of you have guessed what it is, and I had to look out for myself. Though only meant as an explanation for her absence, McCurdy's tweet further fueled more speculations, one of which was the allegation that the Nickelodeon producer Dan Schneider was mistreating the girls on his shows. While this was never confirmed, there are many theories online that he had a thing for feet and was projecting his desires onto the young actresses. Sam and the Cat eventually ended up airing for only one season, and with that, McCurdy cut ties with Nickelodeon forever. When news of an iCarly revival started swirling, McCurdy made sure to quickly let fans know that she would not be returning to reprise her role. But Nickelodeon was not the only thing McCurdy walked away from. She also left her acting career behind. In 2016, McCurdy announced that she was retiring from acting and took a break from the big screen for a while. But in the following years, McCurdy still took on a few acting roles. Some of the projects she was featured in during this time include the 2014 web series What Next for Sarah, 2015 web series Between, and the 2020 tragic comedy I'm Glad My Mom Died. However, in a March 2021 episode of her own podcast, Empty Inside, McCurdy revealed that she has quit acting, this time for good. And while this was heartbreaking for those who were already excited about the possibility of seeing McCurdy back on their screens, fans understood that she was making the best decision for herself, and so did her co-stars. Speaking in an interview, McCurdy's co-star Miranda Crossgrove shared her support and love for the actress's decision to quit acting and focus on herself. So what did you think? Did McCurdy make the right choice leaving Nickelodeon and acting altogether? Do you think there's still a chance she'll be back? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Also, don't forget to like the video, click the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to get updates about all your favorite Hollywood stars. Thanks for watching.